Is there one thing that fiction writers do wrong when they first start publishing their book? The answer is yes, there is. And I'm going to tell you what it is and three things you can do about it after this. It starts when we're young with a blank page and a quiet space. We have the need to go places that are impossible and to have new adventures. We want to see things that amaze and excite us. Maybe we come out of a movie theater thinking that was awesome, but I could do better. This is how I wish the movie would have gone. So we get to work and we do all the right things. We put in the hours and we learn the craft of writing. The story flows, and at the end, we stand victorious over a masterpiece. But that isn't the end, is it? We have to submit the book to a publisher and wait for the inevitable. If you're already a writer, you know what's coming. The next slide is going to hurt. The rejection comes back, but of course one isn't enough. You keep trying and get the same results. But let's assume for a minute that you still want to do this. The stories are still there. You keep on working. You keep on refining your craft. You meet other writers. You learn about better ways to submit to publishers or perhaps independent publishing. And after years of hard work, maybe even a lifetime, you're there. Your book is published. People are buying it. You can't even believe how good you feel, and all of your friends are celebrating right alongside you. You feel like you've made it, and you realize now you have to do one thing that you didn't even know was part of the bargain. You have to market your books and get people to know they're even there. Okay, so after you've published a book, and I did the exact same thing back in 2012 when I first published Dragon Badge. There's a lot of different things that we as writers do wrong, and there's a lot of things we can do better. Some of it's very simple fixes. Some of it is actually doing less and not working so hard, which is good news. Everybody wants that, right? So if you imagine yourself, let's go back and pretend that you've never written, or I guess maybe if you have published in the last 5 years or so, you can probably sympathize with this. So what I did was I told every single human being that I knew that I had just finished a book and that I wanted them to read it and read it and review it. All good things. On the surface, it seems like a perfect idea, but there's a problem with that, is that most of your audiobook, or not audio, all audiobook and ebooks and paperbacks, the biggest single retailer is Amazon. Amazon is, of course, a search engine that is an expert at finding products that people would like. And so they have an algorithm. The algorithm tracks everything that people put into Amazon. It goes through all their stuff, what they bought, what they didn't buy, what they looked at, how long they looked at it, all kinds of mysterious things. They'll never tell us the full formula. But one thing we do know is that if I tell my grandma and my mom and the five guys at work who don't read books, and these guys over here, these gals over here who don't read fiction, only read nonfiction, and they just read my book because they're my friends, trying to be nice, they read my book. They buy it on Amazon. Amazon doesn't know who to sell that book to. So the one critical mistake that I think probably everybody has done, and I still tend to do if I'm not careful, I get excited about my book, I tell everyone. So the number one thing that you can do to address that problem is you need to target your marketing towards your audience and your individual niche as specifically as you can. Now, there's lots of different ways to find who likes your books, and sometimes it's counterintuitive. I'm not going to go into that in this particular episode because I'm still learning, working with some really talented people in the industry, and there's just a lot to it. But on a broad scope, you can say, I write a science fiction novel, so I should concentrate on pushing my book towards people who like science fiction. To take it more specific, I would try to promote my book either through paid sites or social media, or talking to friends who like science fiction books, because a science fiction moviegoer is not the same person always, sometimes, as a science fiction book reader. Some do both, but you really want somebody who's definitely going to read a book. I'm almost 50 years old. I know a lot of people who have not read a book since high school unless their work required it. And even then, they probably read the Cliff Notes most of the time. So you need readers. Now, the good news is there's millions and millions of readers. And once they lock into your book, they find what they like. They're going to keep coming back as long as you deliver a good product. So one is be specific to who you think is going to read your book. Number two, and there's lots of great resources out there, is learn how to market using paid media. So the second thing you want to do once you've decided that you're no longer going to just blast your book out to everybody, including your grandma who doesn't normally read in your genre, is focus on your genre. Let's say science fiction, romance. The more specific, the better. But so the second thing you want to do is use some paid ads. You can go to places like BookBub, Free Booksy, Barbarian, Book Barbarian, a whole bunch of those. You can go to the Kindlepreneur course, and they have a list of paid advertisers that are good. And you select a few of those. You pick some that fits your budget, and then you organize like a promotion day. Whether maybe you lower the price for that day, maybe you don't. But the point is, you use a paid promotion. So one, identify your target. Two, use some paid media, but keep it within your budget. Make sure you track it so that you don't. It's real easy to spend too much too quickly. And then the third thing that you want to do is learn some of the more advanced tricks and tools like using Facebook marketing, Amazon marketing services, BookBub marketing services, and things of that nature. Now, we're not going to go into that here too much. I will talk about it a little bit, but my advice would be find a friend who knows how to do this. Take a course. You can watch some free webinars generally and see if you're even interested in going that far or spending money on something like this. So something like Mark Dawson's course for Facebook, and he has Facebook, Amazon ads now. It used to be Amazon Marketing Services, BookBub, Instagram. He has all these different courses that are pretty affordable now. On the surface, I know when I started writing, I had no money. I mean, I was like in the negative money margin. I was working lots of part-time jobs, and so I didn't have $500 to spend on a course at that time. But if you do, you can get to the point where you can do a quality course that's got some good recommendations. They can be worth your money if you think about it. $500 is a lot less than what you would spend on going to get a degree in marketing, even just for a semester. So it can be worth your money if you pick the course wisely. So I'm going to wrap it up today. I'm going to review the 3 points. And the first one is know your genre and market to it. Two, use some paid ads. I would try one ad at a time and kind of get a feel for what works and what doesn't, and stay within your budget, and learn about all of the different social media courses, things, the way to do things right, rather than just get on there and just put random stuff up on your social media saying, hey, everybody read my book because I'm a nice guy. That's not really going to work. There's millions of people already doing that. The last thing people want in their feed is, hey, read my book. So learn from the experts. Until next time, I'm Scott Moon for scottmoonwriter.com, also over at Keystroke Medium, where we talk about reading, writing, and everything in between, interviewing the best writers in several genres at all levels of the spectrum, from people just starting out to people that are clearly at the top of their game in the independent, in the hybrid author, and in the traditional publishing route. So check us out over there. Thank you and have a great day.